it came in under the estimate, so I only billed you for what I actually was here working. So if you wanna use that hour and 45 minutes for something else, you know, that's completely up to you guys, but you haven't been invoiced for it.
Yeah,
That's my question.
okay. Any other discussion? Right, we'll do, roll call on this, Clark Hubbard, yes, Bernwald,
Yes.
Lincoln,
Yes.
Reeser, Myers,
Yes.
motion carried. So, this is serve as our contract, or do we have?
Yeah, I'll sign that with you at the end.
Okay,
Mhm.
and then, we'll work out a schedule to get you in here to start work. Like I said, I really wanna get that qualifying statement filed, but, so maybe we kinda come up with a priority list, and we'll need either Todd or his deputy to get you access to QuickBooks, because I only have read-only rights. And we'll have to work out a schedule that works for them too, to come in, and I'm happy to, very flexible to be in here too, while you're working, so. Thank you very much, really appreciate it. Alright, new business, so, each year, my understanding, the county gives us a list of foreclosed tax parcels in our township, and this year there were 32 parcels, and, they had sent a list around, it was hanging around with somebody, I think everybody's had a chance to look at it. They give the township an option to first right of refusal to purchase, and we usually, I understand, each year we decline that. So, is there, anyone who would like to make a motion on?
I'll make a motion that I write to the county treasurer declining her offer.
Okay, I'll support that. Motion has been made and supported, to send a letter to the treasurer, county treasurer, declining purchase of parcels. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Next item was the Big E Technologies, quote. A while back, we had asked, Eric, who's the owner of Big E, who handles our IT, for surge protectors and battery backups for the computers. He had kinda given us some loaners, and, his quote came back, looks like 3, battery backups with the surge protection, unit price, $169.99 for a total of $509.97, and then optional on-site installation of the, of these, kind of configuring it all, $95 at 2, saying there, on-site installation of UPS on desktop computers, software installation, and power configurations, so that, is $170 at a unit price of $95. So his total was $679.97, to get that set up so that we have protection on those computers. I will make a motion that we approve this quote, for $679.97, and have Eric come out here and get that all set up. Is there support? Support. Okay. Motion's been made and supported. Further discussion? Hearing none. Bernwald?
Yes.
Clark Hubbard, yes. Lincoln?
Yes.
Reeser? Yes. Myers? Yes. Motion passed. I will contact him, get that done, and again, that one maybe comes out of contingency, and just, to back on our budget, to back up with Blaine, we're probably gonna need to help us create a new account for professional services, and, we'll work it into that township budget cost center where we've got our unspent funds. So, okay. Cemetery, so we got a request from our sexton, due to the rising cost of repairs, gasoline, and overall maintenance for the cemetery, I would like you to consider a $75 increase in my monthly pay. And then we also have a secondary, proposal from, Missy King at the village, she's the clerk at the village. She, has taken all of the village's cemetery records and digitized them. And you said she had offered, to do that for
She'll do Cato's the same way, she'll actually put it on the website.
Okay, and did she say how much?
$500.
$500, okay. My feeling is on this is, that we table it to our workshop meeting, so that we can talk about all, compensation in general.
Both of them.
Both of them,
Okay.
yeah, so, I guess I'll make a motion to table that till our budget workshop meeting. Is there support? Support. Okay, motion's been made and supported to table these two items until our budget workshop. All in favor? Aye? Opposed? Motion passed. And the budget workshop date that I added, or not added, I added it to the agenda, so we need to, I guess, I would like to have another one of those so that we're not, we can have a session where we focus on the budget and where we're finishing out the fiscal year, and then when we have on the 17th, we have our budget hearing, we can be well prepared and kind of smooth that along. I guess my proposal would be Monday, June 3rd at 6 p.m. I know we did it a little earlier the last time as well, just to kind of give a little extra time if needed. And then I thought all the May bills would likely be in there as well, so that we could have another month's worth of figures. Does anybody have any problems with that date? That would be a special meeting. Have to get the notices properly posted. Monday, June 3rd at 6 o'clock. Does that work for everybody? Okay, I make a motion that we schedule a special meeting for budget workshop. And I guess I'll also add in any amendments or line item adjustments proposed for Monday, June 3rd at 6 p.m. Is there support for that? Support. Motion's been made and supported. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. And our last item before public comment, I guess I'll kind of touch on it briefly, is, oh shoot, I forgot one more. I didn't have him written.
Bonus appreciation,
I gotta talk about the bonus, but we did have one more item. We did have a resignation on our library board. Steve Charnley, who we just appointed a few months ago, has reached out to Todd. He did not submit a resignation letter.
He just called and said he's gonna be busy out of town with his grandkids going forward and he can't keep up with
He
it,
can't
so.
do it. Okay, so, I mean, we don't have a resignation letter in front
We
of
don't
us.
have a
but-
letter, and he was hopeful that the library would have somebody to recommend to us, but at this point I haven't heard anything. But he was at their April meeting, so it'll be, this month will be the first meeting he misses.
Okay, so I guess we'll just vote to accept his verbal resignation?
Yeah.
Okay, is there a motion to accept Steve Charnley's verbal resignation? Is there support for that? Motion's been made and supported. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passed, so, yeah, we'll have to, I guess, put another ad up on the website, and probably just stick that route, website, word of mouth. I don't know that we need to run a newspaper ad. Okay, was there anything else before I get into what I learned on the bonus retirement? I don't think so. Okay, so the last thing, in doing some preparation for the budget, kind of thinking about salaries going into the next fiscal year, my thought was, could we just, these deferred bonus that we've called, that gets paid out in July every year, which, my understanding from talking to the board and also the auditor was that because we don't have a defined contribution benefit plan, that we were required to pay something. And so my thought was, why don't we let me research that a little bit, and could we move the bonus into part of the board's pay? Because they're getting it every July anyway, and it kind of made it a little sticky at the end of last fiscal year when we had some board members that left middle of the month, and had they earned that, and I was talking to the MTA, well, if we do that and we make it part of their salary, what do we gotta do for retirement? And he said, well, one, if you're paying Social Security tax, you don't have to have a retirement contribution. And I thought, oh, okay, well, that's works. Well, then he said, and two, why are you paying a bonus? And I said, I guess it's always been done that way, is my understanding. And he said, no, that is not.
It was formerly IRA contributions. There was a defined benefit plan.
There was.
Formerly. before my time, it changed to just paying everybody their money and they did what they want with it, because there's a fiduciary responsibility for the township to park the money someplace.
And he's saying that if we pay social security, we don't have to even worry about retirement.
I would agree with that.
But we can't, he said we can't pay after the fact payroll. It needs to be worked into the salary resolution. And I said, well, we didn't do that at the beginning of the fiscal year. You know, could we amend the, resolution and kind of work it that way? So, well, you can on a go forward basis, but the clock has passed as far as getting it basically, you know, paid as salary. So, he did say that, you know, you should talk to your attorney. So I mentioned before, I did call her and I had a discussion with her today because I wanted to update the board, and she pretty much affirmed what he said, that yeah, it would have had to been it should have been part of our salary resolutions at the start of the year. You can't go back, it's a timing thing, you can't go back and pay for work that you've done. And so, basically what was told is it's gotta be something you fix going forward. You amend the resolution if that's what the board wants to do, and then everybody's monthly pay goes up, but it can't be retro. So, I guess I would like to still contact the auditor and ask her, because that was something I specifically asked her on last May. And she had said, well, if you don't have a defined contribution plan, but there was no discussion on the social security. So I would still like to ask her, and then I guess I'd like the board's thoughts, if, you know, this is me passing along information, if we would like the attorney to draw up a letter to explain her position on it, and which is pretty much in line with the MTA. So, you know, two attorneys are saying this, and I guess then the board needs to decide how we're gonna handle it. So would you guys like to see a letter in writing from the attorney on what they're coming from?
I don't need the letter myself.
I don't need a letter, I guess I'm just not understanding what you're saying.
I'm saying that they're saying we can't, it's not legal to pay the bonuses, basically, as they've been paid all these years.
So going forward, the new fiscal year, you wanna put it in the paycheck?
That would be at our budget workshop, that would be my proposal, you know, when we look at salaries, is hey, you know, everybody's getting it anyway, it's really for doing your job. That would be my proposal that the board would have to consider, that's just a thought.
So for this last year though, if they're saying you can't do that or you're not gonna do that, where does that land for this past year?
There would be nothing paid out. It would
Now
be-
going forward, if you go forward and we resolve that, so this last year, there's nothing, going forward, we can fix it.
As part
So
of
if there's nothing this year, there's nothing, no,
that would be correct, if we didn't, you know, I mean, I guess you could probably try to amend it for June and then get 1/12, you know, but I don't know if that's a clean way.
Could I ask Blaine, is there anything you know of on, delegating that number somewhere in
No, if they're, I mean, I'm not a legal person in terms of that, but if they're telling you that you can't, if that's part of the salaries and you can't go retroactively back to amend a salary number, then, yeah, there's nothing that I can come up with that would change how you report that.
But if it's in our meeting minutes from last year that it was part of our pay for this next year, how can you take that away?
Well, that's where the attorney would have to explain further that it's not, it wasn't, it should have, if was the intent that it was part of the salary, it should have been paid out as part of the salary, not as a separate payroll bonus. I guess they said that's not, on an MTA's words, that's not legal. And I was like, ooh, okay, well, I guess we better make sure we got our T's crossed and our I's dotted here. So, if you're wanting further details, again, I'm just being a messenger here, I stumbled across this, because I had talked to the auditor last year when we had the transition, and I thought, well, how does this gonna work? And I asked her what it was, and I don't know if she used the term pension, but she said defined contribution plan, which is a 401k I'd just be curious to hear her thoughts of, hey, this is what two
Okay.
attorneys are telling us.
I think we need to look at what our motion was back in June last year and say, you know, is this part of your pay? Is it, you know, like, how did that motion come across?
You can't decrease the salaries, but you can increase.
And if that comes across as part of your salary, you can't decrease a salary.
Well, and there's tax, it's not a qualified, pension. It's money that it's gonna have taxes withheld on.
Right, and they're saying that if it was part of, it should have been, you know, we signed new salary resolutions for clerk and treasurer last, remember you guys each had individuals? I think on that,
And in that schedule, it clearly states what you get for an, what all of us get for
oh,
an
no,
annual.
that's not what I'm talking about, there was two separate, we had, because you guys had an increase, there was two
Right.
separate individual ones. But maybe what Joyce's point is, we need to pull the paperwork and see, and then maybe that leads to some questions that can be asked further.
Correct.
So, I think for right now, I think we just, you know, it's my duty to bring what I find out to the board, so I'm bringing it to your attention, and, let's work to pull the paperwork and minutes and see, and let's see if it makes a difference on anybody's opinion, but they were both pretty adamant, it's a timing thing, it should have been paid, included as part of your base salary and paid out that way, versus I think it's called deferred bonus on that wage sheet, and they weren't having it, so, let's kinda table that, and we'll do some more research. Hopefully I can bring something back to the workshop, and we can talk about it. All right, that leads us to public comment, open to any topic, aside from agenda, any topic, I guess, so. Anybody have any comments they'd like to make? Doesn't sound like it, so is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
No, before we move, I have a letter to the Cato Township Board. I'm writing to formally tender my resignation from my role as Cato Township Treasurer, effective immediately. I'm grateful for the support of the township residents. It's been a pleasure to serve this role for the past 12 years.
This is the resignation letter.
Mhm.
I just wanna. Okay. Well, I appreciate you, bringing this up, Joyce. You have a big role here, and it's not gonna be, easy transition. So I appreciate you, the sooner the better, that we can start working to get somebody, in here, and thank you for your service. Effective immediately, so the one thing that does for us is, if we accept this, then we only have half of the bill signer.
Right.
We only have one. Now that gives us, most of our bills are pretty much paid up right now.
Yep.
So if we vote to accept that tonight, I would say, the next, tomorrow, we need to start advertising, that we're accepting applications for this position.
If there is nobody, can the deputy step up then and be?
Now, when, my understanding is when
That's the only time, I think.
I think when the, primary office holder resigns, their deputies go along with
That's
that.
true.
Okay.
So if we accept Joyce's resignation tonight, then, her deputy would also be, not a deputy, I don't know what to say, no more. That being said, I think, we can advertise the position, we probably could take applications and, have a process and get somebody in here, ideally before the next bill cycle's due. So,
Well, first-
But we can't approve it,
Hmm?
we have to approve it. The
We-
person, we won't have a meeting till,
June
well, we'll
17th.
have to have a special meeting probably,
Okay.
it would have to be a special meeting.
Well, first of all, let me make a motion to regretfully but respectfully accept Joyce's resignation. Joyce has been here for over 12 years, if I recall correctly, and she helped me immensely when I started. So,
very good job.
if somebody would support that.
I support
Yes, Joyce, thank you, because I tell you right now, my mom has been very grateful to you over the years. And what's nice is you know her. I'm assuming if you know her, you know most of the people in the township. Thank you so much.
So your motion is to, with regret,
Accept Joyce's
accept it
resignation.
effective immediately. Okay, and that was supported by Marcy. Okay, motion's been made and supported, we'll go into discussion, and, I will also echo that. Thank you for your service, Joyce, to the township, I appreciate what you've done. I really do.
I say the same thing, she's gonna be missed.
So, hearing no further discussion, it's all in favor? Aye? Opposed? Motion passed. So, we're gonna need to probably run something in the newspaper, I think.
Yep.
And,
They have 45 days.
We have 45 days to hire someone, but obviously we wanna get it done before June 1st, our next meeting. So let's, I guess, we'll table, obviously, we're not gonna nominate anybody, or we're gonna accept applications, but I'll do a motion that we advertise, this position for treasurer in the website and, on the website and in the newspapers, both the Lakeview News and, Daily News.
I'll support that.
Okay, motion's been made and supported. Further discussion? Hearing none. Burnwell? Clark Hubbard, yes. Lincoln?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
Okay, I will work on trying to get a position. I guess Joyce was kind of final, you have a lot of, like I said earlier, background, and, we have a process that we're gonna have to go through as far as, paperwork, so, maybe we can work out a time to sit down and just line item, okay, check off what needs to, be transitioned, there's all sorts of things, we could, we got keys,
I'm ready to hand it all over tonight,
all
so.
colors, okay, laptops,
Yep.
and that would have all your spreadsheets.
Yep.
Passwords. Yeah, I guess, am I forgetting anything else, I guess?
Yes, there's passwords.
Passwords, is your bond officially, I guess, do we have to cancel that?
I would assume so.
Well, I think it's a position bond.
Okay, we'll have to get the bank accounts updated. Okay, well, PO box keys, Dropbox, all that stuff?
Yep.
Okay. Phone? If there's anything else we'll think of, we know how to get a hold of you, and, so you got your phone and your keys right there,
Yep.
and, we know the password for the, I think I have that for the computer, and what about all the passwords, I guess, BSNA,
I have them all written down
they're all
for you.
written out, okay? All right, where'd we end up, Todd, as far as we need a motion to adjourn?
We do.